Welcome to my class. In this particular lecture, we will talk about issues in e-commerce. There are a number of issues which we are facing in e-commerce. We will discuss those issues in this video lecture. The issues confronted by growth of e-commerce are: the first one, authenticate information issue. We find that so much of information is given to us on the internet. Some of the information relates to e-commerce. A lot of information is given to us in different websites. How do we come to know that the information given on the website is authenticate one or not? This is a very big issue in the case of e-commerce. The second one is relating to legal points, that is legal issues. Every business, whether it is in physical form, that is brick and mortar, or online, it operates in a legal environment. Three legal issues are discussed here. The first one, complexity of contract issue. Second, complexity of taxation issue. The third one, complexity of liability issues. The first one is relating to complexity of contract issue. Let us take up a very simple example. Suppose Mr. I of India is an importer of goods and Mr. E is exporter of goods from England. They entered into an electronic contract in Canada. Mr. I of India is subscriber of digital signature from India. Mr. E is subscriber of digital signature from Germany. Electronic stamp duty is paid in England. Goods manufacturing unit is in China. Goods will be shipped by South Korean shipping company. At present, goods are lying in Taiwan, godown. Payment shall be made through Bank of America. The question is, where is the origin of contract? In which particular country this particular contract originated? This issue is very complex. The second one is complexity of taxation issue. Taxation is one of the most controversial issues in e-commerce transaction, especially the sale tax cases. In brick-mortar businesses, computers compute the taxes to comply with local state laws. But in electronic transactions on internet, tax collection is not so easy. Every state and country has different sale tax slabs. Moreover, the rules for taxation also differ in different countries. So this is a very big issue in case of e-commerce. The next one is complexity of liability issue. I will take up two examples. The first one is a customized software purchased through net and used by an architecture incorrectly determines the stress requirement of a new multi-million-dollar flyover in the city. Unknown to the architecture, the software acquired via the internet had definite bugs, some errors. As a result, the completed structure soon collapsed, killing or injuring dozens of people. The question is, who is responsible? Who shall bear this liability? The software manufacturing company, architecture, the seller who has sold it on internet. Who shall be made liable for this wrong? Second example, a radiation machine bought over internet by a young doctor calculates the dosage of medicine in the treatment of cancer patients. 2 years after treating hundreds of people, 4 died due to radiation overdose because the program had bugs. Bugs means errors. The problem was faulty programming. The e-merchant denies responsibility. Who is liable in this case? The doctor, the merchant who has sold the software, or the company which has produced this particular software? Even they were not aware of this particular bug. So in this particular case, we feel that there is a complexity of liability issue. Complexity of liability issue. When a product is bought over the net and found to be defective, liability becomes an issue. The blame may fall on the merchant or the vendor that shipped the merchandise. Depending on how the warranty is worded, liability could fall on the manufacturer. If a software product produces the wrong solution which causes injury to others, the resulting damage often leads to litigation. In all those cases, to whom should we make liable for the wrong? Each entity involved in the process, e-merchant, vendor, shipper, manufacturer, is potentially vulnerable to legal action. The next one is security threat issues. Security threat is defined as those circumstances or condition which has the potential to cause economic hardship by way of destruction of computer or network resources, or disclosure or modification of data, or denial of service. For example, virus and hackers. They can be a real source of security threat. Cost issues. There are 4 components of cost involved with electronic commerce. Connection cost for internet users, hardware software cost, third setup cost implies skill level and work hours involved in the process of setting up the systems. The fourth one is maintenance cost. It includes employees training and maintenance. Information privacy issues. What will happen if customer sensitive data fall into the hands of strangers? There are 3 categories of concern regarding information privacy. The first involves the electronic data that business store about consumers. In this case, the question is, who owns such data? Who is the owner of such data? The second is the security of electronic data transmission. While the data is being transmitted from one place to another place, there can be security threat. In order to overcome this particular problem, encryption has been promoted as a secure way to transmit data over the internet. But still we find that at number of cases there are real security threat while the information is in transit. The third concern is the unauthorized reading of personal files. The next issue in e-commerce is training and maintenance issues. A qualified staff whose job would be to initiate, update, and maintain their internet connectivity and computer networking facilities is needed. There is difficulty in finding skilled developers, content providers, and knowledgeable professionals. Moreover, there is one more issue, and that is a quite serious one. There are different forms of payment issues. We find that payments are provided to the sellers in number of forms. These electronic fund transfers are in the form of debit cards, credit cards, smart cards, DigiCash, eCash, e-wallet, and so on. Web linking issues. The infrastructure of the internet is designed around hyperlinks, text or image whose address can be linked to another web page for reference. When you click on the link, it automatically goes to the attached site and designated web page. The jumping from one site to another site raises legal issues that include referencing a linked site without permission from the site owner. This is the first issue. Second issue, retrieving or downloading information from a linked site without referencing or permission. Third, unauthorized use of company's registered trademarks. Fourth, adding a web program to a company's website without permission. We have ethical issues as well in e-commerce. A code of ethics is a declaration of the principles and beliefs that govern how employees of the company are expected to behave. How the people inside the company are likely to behave. This is the code of ethics. Like medical and legal practitioners, IT professionals have to subscribe to code of ethics that govern the way they behave with clients, customers, and the public at large when they are on internet. As business people are expected to tell the truth and warn customers when a fault is discovered in a product. The question of ethics in e-commerce is the big challenge confronting all organizations. For example, disabling competing software on your computer. It is totally unethical. If a software manufacturing company disables a competing software on your computer without your consent, then this is totally unethical. As technology advances, users and developers have a greater responsibility to consider the ethical implications that may arise. Technological advancements are forcing us to re-evaluate ethical standards and their implications for privacy and confidentiality. Software copyright infringement, unauthorized email access, and the sale of competitive data, these are some of the serious issues which needs to be answered. All these are forcing a re-evaluation of the e-merchant's code of ethics. We talk about number of issues in e-commerce. Let us summarize all these issues here. The first issue in e-commerce relates to authenticate information issue. The second relates to legal issue, which is related to complexity of contract issue. The third is again legal issue, which relates to complexity of taxation issue. The fourth, again it relates to legal issue and it talks about complexity of liability issue. The fifth issue in e-commerce relates to security threat problems. Then we have cost issues, information privacy issues, training and maintenance problems, different forms of payment issues, and the last one is ethical issues. All these issues are quite vital and they need to be addressed. Thank you very much.